Hello viewers, welcome back to another episode of The Grumpy Penguin. That's me, The Grumpy Penguin. And I'm working today on the Datsun. Yeah, it's been a minute. Sorry about that. It's been a while, so I'm gonna kind of reintroduce the project. So for those of you that have been sticking with me the whole way, just smash 30 seconds forward, you'll be caught up. But for those of you that are new, this is a 1968 Datsun Roadster. It started out life as a Datsun 2000, and I am putting a SR20 DET engine swap into it, along with a 6-speed manual transmission, and just kind of reworking the whole car as a general resto mod. I'm gonna kind of modernize the interior a little bit with modern gauges, roll cage, hardtop, and just kind of make this an all-around fun summer cruiser that may do occasional light track duty, maybe an autocross or two, and maybe some longer road trips. So that's kind of the goal of the project. It is a little shouty. I have actually spent some time kind of de-evolving it a little bit. I want to get it on the road by next spring. That's kind of my goal. It's been off the road way too long and I really miss driving the car. So I'm going to try to, I'm not doing any shortcuts. I'm not cutting any corners. I'm just taking out some parts of the project. I think I'm going to leave the factory rear end in. I picked up an OS Geigen diff, two-way. So that should help with traction. And allegedly these rear ends are good for the amount of horsepower I'm going to throw at it, about 250, 260, 70 maybe horsepower. Just basically almost factory SR20 stuff. Turn the boost up just a little, but I'm not going to go crazy. I am building the engine, and that's part of what we're going to see today. I'm kind of preparing the engine for a little bit more horsepower. I've got a pretty good sized intake plenum on there. Today we're going to get into the fuel system. I'm going to put the fuel rail and the fuel injectors, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we're doing it. Also, since you last saw the car, I've had the intercooler modified. I've got the oil cooler mounted. I'll kind of show you guys a couple clips of that. And had my good buddy Ethan do all the welding on that. He does just a phenomenal job of fabrication work, and I am not a professional fabricator. So he does all that welding and stuff for me. Today we're also going to focus on the intercooler piping, kind of getting everything mocked up for that. So hopefully then that can all get welded. And yeah, intercooler piping, fuel rail, and then we're basically just down to electrical, which is going to be at a later date. I want to get the interior kind of squared away and start doing some of the other restoration process before I get to the electrical. It's going to be kind of one of the last stops. That way I make sure that all the little sensors and accessories and things that I want on the harness are all noted before I start building the wiring harness, because I don't want to go back into it. I kind of want to make it once, make it nice. I don't know if I'm going to go full race spec on the harness yet. I've got a factory harness in the storeroom for the car. I'm probably going to start by modifying that, but if it just looks hacked and ugly, I'll just go ahead and go to a full race spec harness, DR25 shrouds, all the good stuff. It's about, well, from what I've gathered from other YouTube videos, it's about $1,500 to build one, not out of the question. And then it's done, and it's got expandability for future projects, future sensors, and future expandability if I ever decide to make this thing a multi 500, 600 horsepower monster. We can go that route. So come along with me today. We're going to be starting, I guess, at the very front of the engine with the oil cooler and finishing up those lines. So yeah, let's grab some tools and let's get after it. This is a bit tight up here, but I know the hood will close, and I'm just a little worried there's not going to be a ton of airflow going through here, and by the time it gets to the radiator, it is going to be a little bit warm, but the good news is there is a scoop underneath the car. I'm not going to crawl under there and show you guys, but yeah, there is a scoop underneath, so all that should be good. Got the intercooler kind of squared away where you can kind of see the inlet here and the inlet here, and it is a pretty short run. So there's going to not be much intercooler piping, which will be great for lag. Got the manifold mocked up here. And this is the electronic throttle body, the Bosch electronic throttle body for the intake manifold. This is going to be a great addition to the car. E-throttle is awesome, and I can't wait to get it going on this one. All right, so the next step in the piping is the hot side of the turbo. Now I had to actually cut the turbo outlet flange off because it was a 90. and I bought a tight 90 cast piece to put on here, and my hope is that once this is installed, I can basically just use a piece of straight tubing in here to reduce the amount of fab work needed. And it's pretty much a straight shot. It's got a little bit of an angle to it, and I think this vibrant hump hose adapter, hose coupler, is going to be able to take up that maybe 5 degrees of difference without having to do a bunch of welding on the pipe. That went well. And I'm hoping these are kind of made to take up just a little bit of slack in some tighter pipes. So we'll fit this down on the intercooler side.
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
And fit our intercooler pipe in here. Yeah, I think that's going to take up that slack very nicely. And then I've got just a straight piece here to connect to the turbo. Always cut towards you, I think, something like that. So now we can fit this, and this is actually going to need to be shortened just a little bit, I see, but yeah, the pipe is going to work out really quite well once I get that length shortened. So we're going to take just a little bit length off this pipe to get it to fit. All right guys, the last thing I'm super excited about is this radium fuel rail and the direct mount pressure regulator that I got for this car. So yeah, let's get into this and see what it looks like. So, oh cool, it comes with the little adapters to run the new injectors with the old SR20 seats, the like injector seats. These are way nicer than the OEM ones. And super loud, sorry headphone users. Oh my gosh, this is just such a nice piece of kit. Radium is very proud of what they make, and they should be. This is a really, really nice fuel rail. The quality is awesome. It offers the ability to run fuel feed or return out of 3 separate locations. I don't know if I'll use the middle one. The manifold I have doesn't have much of a space in the middle, but I will test fit it to see if that could work. That may be the best solution, but I don't think so in this instance. And then, yeah, it's just got a beautiful pressure regulator, just a really nice fluid-filled one. Always see your fuel pressure. It has provisions for a fuel pressure sensor, which I may or may not run. I've got to look at the sensor input list to see what sensors I have available. And then it has some very nice gasketed O-ring type swivel sensors. So I think the best way to do this, I think is going to be running this on the end. Which way is it going to go? Wrong end. This would be the firewall end. This will be the front of the car. I don't think there's enough room by the firewall to run the fuel pressure regulator. I think I'm going to have to run the return at the front. It's a little tight, the engine's a little tight to the firewall for some of these aftermarket components. Not terrible, it's still a great placement for the motor. I'd like it as far back as possible, but it's a little tight for big stuff like that. So yeah, we'll throw these fuel fittings on. Get them kind of tightened down for now, at least snugged up. And then, yeah, we'll put this in the engine bay and see where it ends up. I think it's going to be just about perfect with this location here, and then run the return down under the inlet manifold and back. I did get the stainless steel braided hose for this. I did get the PTFE lined, mostly for smell. I'm not going to run E85. It is E85 compatible. I could always expand to E85 later. I probably will not run E85 in this car. I'll probably just run pump premium. Again, I'm not targeting a super high horsepower number where E85 makes a difference. If I ever get to that point, I'll run exclusively like E85R instead of pump E85. and it's super oxygenated, and then you can go for the moon as far as timing is concerned. But for now, I'm just going to run pump gas. But the PTFE liner makes a big difference for smell. When it's parked in the garage, you don't get vapors or odors don't leach out through the fuel lines. So hopefully it smells up the garage just a little bit less. And there's a catalytic converter on this car too, so I'm trying to be as compliant as I can with regulations or emissions regulations. So let's get this whacked in the car and see what it looks like. All right, viewers, that pretty much wraps up this portion of the build for the Datsun. Engine bay's coming together really nice. I'm very excited for how this is turning out. Can't wait to keep moving forward on this build and get this car running by spring. At least that's the plan. Cross my fingers, I think we'll get there. If you like what you saw, please click subscribe, click the bell, like this video. There will be more Datsun content coming out very soon. There's probably also going to be some content from my other builds, like my Land Rover. Got some wheels and tires coming for that I'm really excited to show you and put on. Get that thing ready for winter. And the Fiat build, although I just put the car away earlier today into storage, we're going to get that out of storage early spring. Get those coilovers on there, exhaust, tune, do the whole workup on that video as well. So that's coming out real soon. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more content. We'll see you next time.